for tuning in to our very first in a series of interviews with local candidates and leaders called 5 Questions, brought to you exclusively by Drawlines Politics. I'm Nick Stone. I'm joined today by Donna Milo, Republican candidate for Congress in Florida's 20th District. Donna is a small business entrepreneur. Donna, thanks very much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Thanks. Now, I'm going to ask you a few fairly open-ended questions and let you tell our viewers a little bit about what you stand for, who you are, and why they should support you. First, what would you say is the greatest challenge facing the American family today, and how can government help, if at all?
I think that's a great question, but really the answer to that question is multi-pronged. There is, the American family is under attack, and it's under attack from multiple fronts. There is not one greatest challenge. I think there are several, and one of the challenges is certainly the economy. The economy, it's very, very, very difficult for the American family to make ends meet because of inflation, because of regulation, because of spending. But the American family is also under attack because of the education system. The American family is under attack because we've lost our connection to our representatives. We have no voice. The American family showed just recently with the passage of the health care bill, they were by and large opposed to it, and the government chose to pass it anyway. So there are many challenges because the American family doesn't have time to be marching on Washington trying to get its point across, but the government is so disconnected from the American family that it's got its own agenda, and the American family has no representation. So I think that what government has to do is, and I don't think government can do it, I think the American family needs to take its government back first. And how does it do that? It elects people that truly will give them a voice. So the American family has to be involved. People have to vote. They have to be convinced that their vote counts. Because I think for years, the political elite has convinced the American family that their vote doesn't matter, that it doesn't count, that, you know what, regardless of what I do, things are going to happen beyond my control, and that's not true. If you're active, if you're engaged and involved, you can make a difference. So first, the American family has to elect a government that's representative. Second, the American family has to demand from that representative government that they don't overspend, overregulate, that they encourage business through less taxes, less regulation, to hire so that their economics improve because the American family is being challenged because of the economic situation. So certainly it's a multi-pronged approach to a multi-pronged problem, but the solution is certainly not more government. The government, there has to be less government. I think more common sense and less government from government.
Okay. All right. Name one or two of your top priorities that you want to champion when you get to Washington. If you can, give me specifics.
Well, certainly I think federal spending is something that is huge right now. We're seeing an expansion of government. In fact, USA Today published figures last week that, and I don't recall the percentages precisely, but I think that federal income from federal sources such as unemployment, food stamps, entitlement programs were up 4.3%, I believe, while income from private sources was down 4.7%. So, and again, I'm not sure of the exact percentages, but it was somewhere in that realm. And what that shows us is that we're actually expanding government deficits at an unsustainable rate. So if we cannot arrest government spending, if we cannot arrest that, we will have a collapse of our economic system. We cannot be on an unsustainable path. So I think one of the priorities we have to do is to get federal spending under control. We have to work with families, have to balance their budgets. We can't operate in deficits. We see what happens if we try to operate in deficits. Our government should not have the right to do that.
Actually, that's a perfect segue to my next question. I'm glad you brought up the deficits.